Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took part on Monday in a conference to support the transitional period in Sudan and a summit on financing African economies in the French capital. Addressing the inaugural session of the Paris summit, President al-Sisi stressed Egypt's constant support to Sudan in achieving its stability and development. The president called on the international partners to boost the Sudanese efforts to get through its transitional period and overcome the repercussions of its economic crisis.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated Monday in the activities of the Paris conference to support the transitional phase in Sudan. President Sisi gave a speech during the conference in which he expressed his sincere appreciation to President Emmanuel Macron for his initiative in cooperating with the Sudan to convene this conference to mobilize international support for Sudan, which comes at a pivotal stage in its modern history. Sisi affirmed that Egypt's participation in this conference comes from its firm conviction that the security and stability of Sudan is an integral part of the security and stability of Egypt and the region, and reflects Egypt's commitment and steadfast political will to spare no effort to support the sustainability of peace, development and stability and preserve the unity of Sudan. The president pointed out 5 points in concern with the vitality of helping Sudan. First, the need for the Sudanese parties to lead all efforts to bring peace and stability to their lands. In this context, commending the tangible achievements made by the transitional government, most notably the reaching of a comprehensive peace agreement last October. Second, the challenges that many countries in the region have faced during the past period have proven that building the pillars of the state and its various institutions, especially the unified national army, is the main pillar to ensure peace and stability. Third, the upholding of the principle of citizenship based on a national consensus that includes all the people of Sudan. Fourth, commending the comprehensive economic vision presented by the transitional government and its endeavor to benefit from the Egyptian experience in economic reform. The president reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to make every effort to support the steps taken by the Sudanese government to achieve economic stability, as he announced Egypt's participation in the international initiative to settle Sudan debt by using Egypt's share with the International Monetary Fund. Fifth, that the consolidation of peace and stability in Sudan necessarily requires the provision of an enabling political and security environment in its regional surroundings in order to enable Sudan to maintain its stability based on the rules of international law and relevant international agreements over all of its lands. Finally, Sisi stressed that there is no doubt that the Nile River can represent a pillar for a more comprehensive cooperation between the countries of the Nile Basin if the political will is available in a way that enhances stability in the region. In the end, the head of state reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to continue supporting Sudan.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held summit talks with French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Monday. The talks covered regional and international issues of mutual concern as well as means of boosting bilateral relations. The two leaders also discussed the latest developments in the Palestinian territories and the latest escalation of aggression by the Israeli occupation forces. The two leaders called for a rapid end to fighting in Israel and Gaza as the violence that has killed more than 200 people entered its second week. They agreed in Paris that it was absolutely necessary to end the hostilities. Macron renewed his support for Egypt's mediation efforts in the conflict. They also agreed to continue coordinating their efforts towards a rapid ceasefire to avoid a widening of the conflict. Upon his arrival in Paris, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with head of the Sudanese Transition Sovereign Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said the president praised the strong and historic ties between the two nations. Radi added that the president affirmed Egypt's commitment to support all steps taken by Sudan to achieve stability and development. Radi noted that the meeting reviewed the latest files of mutual concern, including the situation on the Sudanese-Ethiopian borders, as well as the Ethiopian dam, as both sides stress on the ultimate importance given to the Nile water issue as a national security matter to both nations. Later in the day, President Sisi received Eric Trapp, the CEO of Dassault Aviation, the maker of the Rafale jet fighters. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri received phone calls on Monday from his Greek counterpart Nikos Dindias and Dutch Foreign Minister Stef Blok for talks on the Israeli aggression against the Palestinians. During the talks, the two ministers expressed appreciation to Egypt's diplomatic efforts to halt the aggression. Earlier, Shukri received phone call from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on the latest developments in the Palestinian territories. Blinken expressed appreciation for the ongoing Egyptian contacts with the two sides of the conflict to end the current escalation. The two ministers agreed on coordinating the Egyptian and American efforts to reach peace and stability in the region. Shukri also held phone talks with Qatari Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani as part of coordinating efforts with many countries on the military confrontations in the Palestinian territories. The two sides agreed to work for an immediate ceasefire. Blinken also spoke by phone to officials in Qatar, Saudi Arabia and France. Upon directives by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a number of lorries carrying Egyptian aid arrived at Rafah border crossing. Earlier, Egypt opened its Rafah border crossing with Gaza to allow ambulances to transport Palestinians seriously wounded in Israeli occupation airstrikes to Egyptian hospitals. A medical official reported the news, adding that Egypt opened the Rafah border crossing to allow 10 Egyptian ambulances into the Gaza Strip to transport the wounded Palestinians to be treated in Egypt. During a meeting headed by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Health Hala Zaid reviewed the aspects of her ministry's plan to support the injured Palestinians in Gaza Strip, which was set upon directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The minister said that evacuating the injured is achieved through the Operations Center of the Central Room, Northern Sinai Operations Center, and the Operations Center of the Egyptian Ambulance Authority. Zaid added that the regional blood bank in Arish was on high alert to supply all needs of blood groups to the injured. Welcome back. Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated in Monday's trading session amid selling and purchasing operations by investors in both directions. The benchmark EGX 30 index slid by 0.87%. The EGX 70 index for small and medium businesses went up by 1.07%. And the broader EGX 100 index gained 0.86%. The market capitalization lost about £500 million to close at £671.6 billion, amid transactions of about £3.1 billion.